ever dobbed in a neighbour? Have you? Yes, you. Have you? Maybe they were playing their music too loud. Maybe they were just parking like they owned the whole street. Some Australians are targeting bad parking culprits within their communities. Drivers who improperly park across the footpath or on driveways on common property. And they can face, obviously, hundreds of dollars in fines. Now, I would say, well, just don't do it, then you don't get fined. But there is an app called Snap Send Solve, which I have to say is pretty good. I've used it once or twice with issues to infrastructure, like footpaths and things like that. And what you do is you take a picture of it, you send it in, it goes to the council or whoever is responsible to fix it, and they fix it. And, you know, because how many times have you rung a council and said, hey, mate, the grass is now 4 metres high around here and it's impossible to walk through it. And you can't, if you can get through, it's a miracle, but nothing ever seems to get done. So Snap Send Solve is a good thing. It's designed, I guess, to help identify and fix minor issues in the community. It's been downloaded over 1 million times in Australia. While the app's usual usage surrounds the local government issues like the broken footpath or busted bins or missing signs, users are increasingly, we're told, taking the app to report people for poor parking. It appears to be working. The app's Facebook page is full of comments from people frustrated by parking infringements. So is this a good thing or not such a good thing? Again, if you don't park in properly, then you don't have the problem. I do want to speak to the CEO and founder of Snap Send Solve. That's Danny Gorrog, who I'm delighted to say is on the line. G'day, Danny.
G'day, Luke. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Not at all. Very nice to talk to you. It's a brilliant application, that I use, and so that's 1 million downloads in Australia, right?
Yeah, it's over 1 million actually. We've been going nearly 13 years, so it's a slow and steady wins the race with this stuff. You know, the type of behaviour we're trying to give people the power to do something about something if they see something wrong. And I think your intro was terrific. You know, Snap Send Solve is widely used in the community for a whole range of things: dump rubbish, illegal parking, abandoned trolleys that go to the supermarkets. We partner with Telstra and NBN, for example. When you see a damaged pit, they will get the report. So the beauty of Snap Send Solve is you don't need to know who is responsible. You take a photo, you confirm your location, we'll automatically present you with a couple of incident types we think are right, and then we will try to send that report off to the correct solver. Now, people, you know where you live, you probably know the council you live in.
Yes.
But a lot of people have got no idea, or they work in the city of Sydney, but they live in, another Parramatta or Sutherland or whatever it is. And so it's one app that is a single standard interface the whole time. And what we've found from talking to users is people, as you say, they don't want to call council. They don't have the energy to call council. They don't even want to log on to the council's website because it's all too complicated.
Yes.
So Snap Send Solve is a really simple way of capturing all that information, and we send it all to the council, and the council's got the location, and in 98% of times they get the photo, and it makes it very easy for them to deal with.
Yeah, so it goes from the user to you. You then know, because you've already sorted out the location and broadly the type of issue it is, you then know where it should go next. So you then, through the workings of the app, you give it to the council. How do you then get a response? In other words, how do you know that the problem's been fixed or they've brushed it? Is it just the passing of time, nothing's happened here, or are there updates?
So it's a good question. We have a system where the solver, so it's the council or it could be the water provider, they can use our system to mark the report as in progress or solved.
Okay.
And they can so that is available. Now, in saying that, not everyone does that. So often the way we send the report through to most solvers is via an email to their publicly available email address.
Yep.
And so we give them that information. Now, for free, we let them change the status put in reference numbers, because often what they'll do is they'll take information from our system and put it into their system to get the work order done. But then we have increasingly a number of solvers who are automatically taking in our information into their system and then pushing back any updates that they have back to the snapper through the app.
Right, gotcha. So
we collect information. One last thing, we collect information. We ask you as a snapper a couple of weeks after you put the report in, did the problem get fixed?
Gotcha.
Now, the stats say about 9 out of 10 times the issue gets resolved. So and that's why we've got a following, and people find out about it. They go, oh my God, that was magic. I saw some dump rubbish in the street. I reported it. A couple of days later, it was cleaned up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the common, I guess the common, is it about, I don't know, overgrown vegetation or broken infrastructure? What is it?
I pulled up the data from last year. So around 50 dump rubbish was the number one issue. Around 50,000. This is for New South Wales. Illegal parking, nearly 46,000. Trolleys combined probably about 40,000. Overgrown vegetation about 15,000. So abandoned vehicles 15,000. So the list goes on and on. Damaged roads, damaged pavements, potholes, graffiti. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, there's an unbelievable number of things that go wrong in the community.
Of course.
The thing that, my founding story was I had a young son. I took him to a playground and the swing was broken. The little clasp on the swing, and I said, Oscar, you can't go on the swing, I'm sorry. And he started to cry. And I'm looking around and I'm like, I've got this amazing tool in my pocket, a smartphone, which has got a camera and GPS. Yeah. How do I get the information to the right place? And that was the genesis of it. So we get now, hundreds through Australia, hundreds of thousands of damaged playground equipment reports every year. So it's amazing.
Geez. Now,
let me say one other thing.
Yep.
Inner West Council have just done an amazing thing. We've actually got QR codes. We work with Inner West Council. We've got QR codes that they have put up around the municipality. So if you see a problem, if you're in a park or you're in a playground, there's likely to be a QR code that you can instantly scan and put the report in that way. So it's even easier than it has been.
All right, so parking. Firstly, the app doesn't issue a fine. It's important to note, and people would have heard us talk about you're the conduit, if you will. But in terms of parking, there'll be people that, your neighbour parks in the driveway, or part of the car's on your side, or whatever it might be. It's annoying. Whether it should lead to a fine, I don't know. That's for people to work out for themselves. What do you do with parking?
Correct, yeah. So you make good points. So, like I said, nearly 46,000 parking reports. So people use SnapSend Solve to let the relevant authority, the council, know when there's a problem. Now, it depends on the council. It depends how they work. I'll give you an example. Waverley Council, if you're in Waverley, if you're in Bondi, the reports that go via SnapSend Solve go directly to the parking rangers who are out on the street. So they'll get a notification. They click on the link. They can work out where the car is, and then they can go and visit it. If it needs a fine, that's what they'll do, and that works seamlessly, right? That's the best experience.
Yep.
If councils receive reports via email during their business hours, oftentimes they will then refer those on to the rangers. But the other thing that council's using our data for is they're seeing trends and patterns over time. So where do we need to have these parking rangers out around the community to make sure that people aren't parking illegally, they're not causing problems? And the few main things that we see are people illegally parking in disabled zones, and also parking around school areas, around blind corners, and preventing traffic flowing. And so they're the things the councils take. They take the data, they put it into their system, they go, all right, well, let's think about where we're going to put our patrollers, and that's where they use it. So they're the themes that we get. And it seems to be working. And so, look, we don't want to be known as the dobbing app, but, if you've got serial people who are kind of parking illegally or they've dumped abandoned vehicles, this is a very effective way to let the council know that there's a problem.
Yeah. The app is free?
It is.
There you are.
It is.
All right. SnapSend Solve. Danny, great to chat, mate. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Luke. Appreciate it.
Good on you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Danny Goreg, who is the founder and runs SnapSend Solve. So if you've got, something like a pothole, I guess, or people dumping rubbish, take a picture, you send it off, and hopefully it gets sorted. That's what's meant to happen. And in my experience, it does happen.